Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good evening. Sorry. Now, this afternoon, we were talking about what made me a, an explorer. What was my story? So now it's Joanna's turn to answer that question. So, what made you to be an explorer, and what made you to dream about Leadia?
I guess it would have to be, as everyone says, a curiosity that started since I was a child. I was just always asking questions. And this continued all throughout schooling. I just never stopped asking why. I remember there was this book growing up, the Book of Whys, and I loved it because it just kept letting us ask why, and why you can ask about everything. So hello, Veronique, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Veronique.
So
Hi. Can you hear
I
me?
hi.
think technically it's good morning for you.
Yes, technically it's past midnight, so it's a new day. And every time is a new day. So beautiful.
So, how is the new day?
It's
Tell us about the future.
well, the future is I am so excited that I get to get on the plane very soon and
Right, right,
seeing you in
yeah.
Istanbul, and that we're gonna get this program together to do this program together and everything. So that's the future for the next couple of But then in the meantime, I'm still finishing another program. So
Yeah, we're all busy bees, and I'm pretty sure when we're all together, um, we're all gonna create magic, and that's really what Leadia is all about. Like a lot of busy bees getting together to maybe create a one of a kind honey. I don't know,
not
like
maybe for sure,
for sure,
for
I
right?
sure.
think
You know,
the reality of Lydia, or maybe it's our difference. We are not on the quantity; we are on the quality side. So when we were on this journey, we were not thinking like how we can make it like with so many people. We were thinking like how we can make it more personal and more like build a different kind of connection which they will not forget forever. So rather than going for many people, we always prefer to go to few people. And I think that's a part of exploration. What do you think, Joanna?
I think I love the image of a cross that goes vertical and horizontal. So if you want to go wide, you go horizontal. So that's quantity. But if you want to go deep, you go vertical, and you're talking about quality now. So I think what Lydia's trying to do is find that sweet spot that hits both. And of
yeah,
course, for our very first one, it's very important to plant the roots. That's why going deeper maybe is the priority. So we want to be able to find that magic sauce or that formula so we can build that muscle. So when we create another festival, it's going to have that kind of blueprint that lets people dive deep into relationships. So
yeah,
the first one is one big experiment. I mean, we love saying it's like a laboratory or a work in progress if you're going to think in terms of an artwork. And
hmm
like in terms of exploration, I like to use art as applied to everything in my life. I've written about spirituality as art, science as art, business as art. And
yeah,
what do I mean by this? It's all open ended. I love open ended things. I mean, when you ask questions, before you came on, Veronique, we were talking about how I loved asking questions even as a child. And the
hmm
questions I loved asking were the open ended ones. It was never the what or who or where, when. It was the why and the how. So
yeah.
um, since I was a child, that's always been the most fascinating thing for me. And I remember I was always the academic nerd, or I mean, I loved studying. So I excelled in school. But when college came and everyone was asking, what are you going to do after college? For me, my measure of success was not getting into the best corporate job or like money. It wasn't what I was after. At
Mm.
like 2021, I was already saying my measure of success is relationships. If I'm
Yeah.
able to develop connections on a very deep and sustained level, that for me is a successful life. So I
Mhm.
guess I've lived my life always with that as my radar. Like, how are my relationships? How are my
Yeah.
relationships with my family, with my friends, with the people I have yet to meet? Like, am I making space for new relationships? And I love meeting new people. Like, if you ask my friends who've been with me all 40 years, they know that every single year there's a new layer of circle in my network that I've never met before, and I met because I engaged in something new for that year.
Mhm.
For
Mhm.
example, I love joining weird workshops or things that no one in my circle would even think of
Weird.
joining. Yeah, and I just show up there and I make new friends. And for me, that's something that is inexhaustible. People, like the curiosity about people and their
Yeah.
stories, that for me is the best exploration out there. And you get to do that, of course, when you travel. I love solo traveling. It lets me explore inside and outside at the same time, meeting new people, and even like, changing my persona with every new person I meet. It's an interesting experiment, if you want to put it that way.
As
So,
long as you know who you truly are inside, which is the
exactly.
case with you, right? As long as you have this deep belief of who you are, even if that who you are is an evolution, because thank God we're not trees, right? None of us. We get roots, but the great thing is we can pick
We
up those
move.
roots and continue growing in different directions. And so, or maybe we are trees, moving trees, but we're not stones that are stuck in one place. I'm not sure how
Right.
you would put it. But the beauty of the human spirit is that we are able to grow and we are able to take something on. And sometimes you hear someone and you're like, you know what? I really want to get to know you a little bit better. Or, we hear a concept and we're like, I'd like to try that one on. It's a bit like,
Right.
and sorry, Corey, it's a girl thing, but let's try this outfit and see what it looks like.
Right. Right.
And I may like it or I may not like it. And if I don't like it, I won't wear it again. Same
Right.
thing.
And while
Yeah,
hearing
but
it,
I want to interrupt here. Like 2 weeks ago, I got an compliment from a very interesting lady. She said that I was the best shopping buddy ever. So,
Okay.
like,
There you
when
go.
basically, like, when you are choosing an outfit, like, people think like if it hits on me, but in fact, the reality, how it makes you feel.
right.
Exactly. How does it make you feel? Completely.
So that's why, like, when you have someone and that person is warning you about that, in fact, that's a different kind of exploration.
Hmm.
That's interesting that you brought up feelings. I love to doodle, and I started doodling as a meditative activity. So it's a way for me to organize and understand what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. And one of the things that I really remembered doodling was, what is your truth? And for the longest time, I used it as my radar. I call it the truth radar. And circling back to what Veronique was saying, like, it's okay to keep exploring different personas as long as you know who you are and you keep coming back to that.
Hmm.
But now that you mentioned feelings, it's also a new muscle I'm learning, to listen to feelings more, because they're also a
Hmm.
revelation of something. And feelings are more immediate, I would say, that it doesn't need you to dive deep and think. So, um, it's nice to be able to listen to feeling, and feeling is more, I think, body oriented. So what does your body feel when I'm teaching my daughter, 5-year-old daughter, like to make decisions at 5 years old? I tell her, what does your body tell you? And
Mhm.
it's a way for her to ground and just recognize, how do I feel right now? What feels right? And I think it's a good guide also in terms of exploration, how people affect you and how you affect them. So it's
Yeah.
always two way. Yeah, the communication of feelings is also two way. Yeah.
And
And
also,
also, sorry, go ahead.
sorry, no, please.
We have so many things we want to talk about, but what I was going to say is, with that also, um, in this world and online and everything, sometimes we teach ourselves to ignore those feelings,
Right.
and then it doesn't feel good because we are
Right.
not following our direction. So we actually want to make sure that we stand in those truths, right?
Yes,
And the
exactly.
truth of that, and that's one of the reason I think that we are curating who is coming to the Leadia Festival as well, is to make sure that these people are aligned, and that when you decide to be an explorer and join, um, you understand what you're getting into, should I say, because
Right.
it's
Right.
it's not a passive activity.
But for commercial reasons, to change your buying and purchasing pattern, they try to manipulate your feelings.
Mm-hmm. True.
For grocery stores, did you notice that always there is a certain wavelength of light and a certain color of light? It's not too bright, it's not too dark.
Mm-hmm.
The more valuable items on a certain row. And it changes
The
completely.
science to it isn't
It's
there.
very different.
I was gonna say the psychology of human behavior is the science, and
Yes.
that you rely on data. And we touched about this the other day, like how data driven do you really want to be in terms of exploration?
Years
Mhm.
ago, I had a
But then
thesis.
how do you attach data to fulfillment?
Can you elaborate? Can you
Well,
say that again?
one of the things we talk a lot about in my other universe is the art of fulfillment, and that's joy, and
Mm,
that's feeling connected, right? And that's not that's the part that's not necessarily data driven, but that makes life worth going for, and that
right.
makes us take some extra risks. For instance, I remember as a child reading in one of the many books I read, but it was something that said, um, along the line of, if there is a chance of a friendship at the end of the road, I will drive as fast as I can.
Wow, that's so nice.
And,
That's
you
really
know,
nice.
exactly. And but what I'm talking about, this is not really measurable, right? And
Yeah.
at the same time, this is where we're going for all of us in some ways, at least the extroverted part of us, and even the introverted, because we can't, we're not an island. None of us are islands, and we
Right.
live in in society, and we live with people, and in general, it should make our lives better.
So, based on what you just said, the art of fulfillment can be put as what makes you happy. How do you find joy?
Yes.
And it cannot be predicted. It cannot. It's where spontaneous, the
But you could stack
spontaneity.
the date. You could stack the decks. Sorry, that you fit things in ways that make you happier. So, like, I'm talking. I was talking introvert extroverts. Some introverts are never happier than left alone with a book,
Hmm.
right? And knowing that, and also knowing that they have to be in society, they can stack the deck by saying, okay, I need that refill time where I can sit with my book, because that makes me a better extrovert the rest of the time or a better communicator. Some extroverts, like me, for instance, if I stay stuck in front of my screen just typing away for several days, I might go crazy. Now, I'm blessed that, like you, I have a child at home, so he gets to do conversation with his mom, and he's a boy and he's an introvert. So that's sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge. But I know, it's what's really important, I think, is for us to know what we need. And a lot of people grow into not knowing what they need.
I think a lot of that is in self-awareness and building that muscle of self-awareness, which
Yes.
is a little tricky too, because I remember growing up, I loved taking personality tests because they made me, that's
fun.
me, that's me. But then when you get stuck in that description of who you are, and then sometimes when you grow a bit older, you say, hey, I'm not that anymore, but that's supposed to be me. So recently, I came across a book by someone I consider a mentor because I learned a lot from him. He said personality isn't permanent. And for me, it was so beautiful because it just makes you feel that, okay, to be in flow, which is a peak state, you have to let your personality flow too. That's why I was saying this whole experiment of when I meet new people, I put on a different persona. It's like wearing a different hat or a different outfit. Um, it lets me see also or feel into it. Like, who am I now? Like, who am I now is different from who I was a few days ago, maybe a year ago for sure. And when I was 23, I went on my first solo trip to Spain, and we didn't have family or friends there. My mom and dad, bless them, they were very brave to let me go on my own. I met someone who said, "You can only judge me by what I say and do when I say it and do it." So I was like 23 at that time. And I was thinking, what? So where's the integrity in that? Like, how can I count on you? Are you a reliable person? But then now that I'm in my 40s, 20 years after almost, it makes so much sense that, we're all evolving. I think you mentioned it earlier, Veronique, that who we are changes all the time. But there's a certain
But
compass.
There's
a core.
right?
Yeah, the compass that we keep going back to that also helps us answer the question of what makes us happy. And these are a part of this core, and I know there's this image of like permeability, like the identity. You're not building walls. It's like a permeable thing that things can go in and out of it. And I guess that's really what self-awareness is about, what building connections with yourself and with the outside world is about. So for Leadia festivals, I mean, to be able to just journey with other people who are also going through this kind of exploration, for me, that's what's most exciting. Like
And
to find
co-elevation,
other
right? To
people,
help others.
co-elevation, exactly. To find other people on the same journey and lift everybody together.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to underline one thing. There is always a discussion like who knows more, who traveled more, or who read more. But in fact, who knows more heard more about human stories, who who knows more is more interacted with other people. So the subject, as much as, and also the quality and quantity subject, if you are going to see people who explored more, people who are more open-minded, who read more, who were exposed more, it's not only like you are just learning from them, also they are giving you another perspective about the life and point of view. So that's, I think, making the difference.
Mhm.
So that's why what kind of people you are hanging out is shaping your personality.
I love this line, like, you are everyone you've met. And it's very interesting, right? Because you really take away something from every single conversation you have. And
Mhm. Yeah.
and I think it's something that we're organizing for a lot of people to meet very interesting people in a special experience that will enable you to take a part of each person's story and add it to your own story. And
Mhm.
I think, yeah, that's the magic thing that we're trying to create.
Yeah.
Um, and we
Exactly.
invite everybody who resonates with this, who's also searching for this kind of um, meeting of minds and hearts with new people that you never would have met if it weren't for this kind of curated experience. uh, any age, any culture, any discipline, artist, um, professionals, you're a founder, entrepreneur, you're in tech, you're all welcome.
And also, we are usually not a person with one head. We have different things, like we are the founders of Leadia, we are we have our responsibilities, and we have a daughter. So she's on the backside. Maybe you're singing her beautiful voice, but that's a part of our life. I am sorry if it is annoying, but that's the reality, and we are so happy that she can sing.
I mean,
Well,
yes,
as far as I'm
that's
concerned, it's okay, and that's part of who we are, right? That's part of who we show up as, and that's the important part for me. That's
I
how I
mean,
see it, at least.
none of us are like born with golden spoon, silver spoon in their mouth.
So no islands. None of us are islands, as I
one of
said,
other
or
islands.
trees.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in fact, those are the things which are making our life more colorful.
colorful. Exactly. It's the little things that you think are
Babajam,
are
can you come
mistakes,
here?
or they annoy you, or they're not part of the plan. But these are the things that bring in the fulfillment,
Mhm.
the art
Yeah.
of fulfillment, which is the joy, the unexpected
So,
thing. So
here is our daughter.
let us end
Say,
tonight's
Tita Veronique is
Hi,
there also. Say
Savannah.
hi.
live broadcast. This is our little girl. So you've been hearing
Yes.
her singing the whole episode. So thank you for
She
joining
provided the musical accompaniment.
us. Right?
Well, in fact, I would ask, like, what is your biggest exploration and what's your next exploration, or should we leave it to tomorrow?
Maybe we'll save it
Should
for
we
next
leave?
time. Yeah. I mean, as with all our Lydia lives, there's always more to talk about. And I think it makes everyone look forward to just the next conversation. So thank you for joining
Uh,
us, Veronique. Thank you to everyone who's watching us right now and who will be watching this. Please, if you would love to join us in Istanbul, the link is down below. Just click and hit that apply button.
Veronica, I have an idea. Tomorrow we have facilitators and speakers meeting, right? So maybe we can cut it like 10 minutes shorter and we can make like a live tomorrow for 10 minutes with all the facilitators.
Sounds like a
Let's
plan.
see what comes up. That sounds like a really nice idea. So let's see what we come up with for tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
So take
Bye.
everybody.
care. Bye
Bye,
bye. Thank you very
everybody.
much, Veronique, and
See
have
you
a
soon.
great morning.
See you soon.
Will
Yeah.
do.
4 days, 4 days.
Bye bye.
Really done.
Bye bye.